You've found us again. We're on side 2 now. We're returning to local news, and here's Sonia to read the first item.
A couple are totally overwhelmed after strangers came to their aid when a dream garden project became a nightmare. Kat Collins and boyfriend Toby from Walthamstow had heard about a man trying to start up his own firm earlier this year. They offered the man small jobs around the house and later heard about his experience in the gardening trade. Deciding they wanted to give him a boost, they offered him a £1,600 landscaping job at their home in Granville Road. But it soon became clear that the job was too large, and their attempt at helping a neighbour had left their home looking like a scrap heap. The couple had already bought tools to help the man get on his feet, but despite this, the job was deserted 6 weeks ago. When fellow East 17ers heard about the story, well-wishers came to the couple in their droves, offering free haircuts, cakes, and a full garden makeover. Miss Collins said, "I remember thinking it would be years before we'd be able to use the garden. It was a disaster. Fences had been pulled down and not put up properly. There were holes all over and piles of earth." Soon after the news got out about their abandoned garden, neighbours began to flock to the couple with offers of help. Then, the owners of Green Man Landscaping decided to give them the biggest gift of all, a 5-day garden makeover. The company was joined by volunteers from Walthamstow. The garden has been re-fenced, cleared, and even levelled off with flower beds being planted and a garden shed repositioned. "We moved in a year ago and we didn't have anything left for the garden," Miss Collins added. Simon and Gareth of Green Man Landscaping said they didn't want our kind gesture to backfire on us. "We are going to buy everyone lottery tickets and hope they get some good karma."
Shoppers and residents using cash points in a busy high street are being targeted by distraction thieves and fraudsters, police have warned. Chingford Green Neighbourhood Officer PC Darren Brand is working to install stay-out yellow boxes at all street cash points in Station Road, Chingford, following a series of distraction thefts and fraud incidents. The yellow boxes have been proven to reduce crime by acting as a psychological barrier to the criminal, PC Brand said. It comes after a number of incidents, the most recent of which involved a young woman who drew out some cash at NatWest Bank on August the 23rd. She noticed a man standing quite close to her when she withdrew £50 and walked away, whereupon he said to her, "You've left your account open. Someone will take your money." He told her to put her card back and re-enter her PIN, which prompted a screen to display Emergency Fund Transfer Code, but the machine kept her card. She walked over to the post office to check her account to find £270 had been taken. Judith Booth, 70, of Queen's Grove Road, Chingford, was approached by a man while trying to withdraw money at Tesco's ATM on June the 20th. After inserting her card, a screen came up to tell her to go inside to retrieve her bank card. Knowing something was suspicious, she asked the man 5 times where her card was before deciding to walk home and phone her bank, who told her £250 had been taken. She said, "I knew something was wrong and that Tesco had nothing to do with it. It shook me up and I've lost my confidence." PC Brand added, "If anyone approaches you in any way at a cash point, they are highly likely to be attempting to distract you in order to steal from you. If possible, use the counter service and keep a constant check on who is standing around you. I would suggest that you simply walk away from the transaction if someone tries to engage with you, and in the case where physical gadgets, such as a fake card reader, have been placed on the machine, give the machine a good tug and a going over before you use it. These machines are very robust, and if something comes off, it should not have been there in the first place.
Mobility-impaired users of an underground station have gathered to protest against numerous closures to lifts, which has left them unable to access the station. Transport for All hosted the demonstration for those using step-free access at Oakwood Station. Commuters were left incensed at recent closures due to staff shortages on 7 occasions in just 2 weeks, and step-free access was not available. In addition, a Freedom of Information document from the Liberal Democrats Assembly members, Caroline Pidgeon, reveals that the lift at Oakwood has been closed 14 times during the past year. Campaigners travelled from Caledonian Road to Oakwood Station spreading the word. Liana Etkind of Transport for All said cuts to London Underground staff were announced. TfL assured disabled people that accessibility would not be affected. Yet actually the number of hours of lift closure on the Underground has risen in the last year. More than a quarter of the tube is out of bounds to mobility-impaired people anyway, so when stations where a lift has installed are enclosed to us, it's another kick to our freedom to travel independently. According to the group, lift closures across the capital due to staff shortages has rocketed more than 50% in the last year. Tony Matthews, General Manager of Piccadilly Line, said, "Overall, lift reliability on the tube network is very good, with lifts available for more than 99% of schedule hours over the last year. Unfortunately, industrial action has meant that the lift at Oakwood has had to be taken out of service several times. We always advertise this immediately to customers and are working to resolve the dispute as quickly as possible. We are investing hundreds of millions of pounds in making the network more accessible with new trains, lifts and other improvements. We have staff at every station when services are running and always try to make sure that for every station with a lift, staff are available to look after it. I apologise to any customers affected."
Not content with just one charity cricket match, this summer, an MP has hosted his second match in the space of 1 week. Enfield Southgate MP David Burrows hosted the match at Botany Bay Cricket Club in aid of Nightingale Cancer Support Centre in Lancaster Road, Enfield. The game comes a week after Mr Burrows took to the crease for the third annual cricket match of community company Make a Difference, that's MAD. The charity aims to bring young and old together to help young people into employment. The charity seeks over 50s who are unemployed to mentor young people and prepare them for the working world. MP David Burrows headed up one team and was up against the founder of the charity, Vijay Sujan's team, at Holt White's Cricket Club in Kirkland Drive, Enfield. Mr Burrows' team set a target of 107 to win from 15 overs. Mr Sujan said, "We were cruising at 100 for 5 after 10 overs, but cricket is a great game as anything can happen." And it did. Suddenly we lost 4 quick wickets, with David taking a brilliant juggling catch. The match ended in a tie. At Botany Bay, the Enfield Southgate MP teamed up with former MP for Enfield North, Nick Dubois. His side took on a Botany Bay 11, with all money going to the charity, which helps cancer patients in the borough. Mr Burrows said, "I hope the local community turns out to support the good work of the Nightingale Cancer Support Centre." A spokesman for the Nightingale Cancer Support Centre said, "The Nightingale is thrilled that our patron has chosen to support us for yet another year in this charity cricket match."
A green-fingered conservationist has been rewarded for brightening up a corner of a neglected train station. Dave Cockle, chairman of the Enfield Society, won a certificate of commendation from the annual Enfield in Bloom Awards for cultivating cheerful bright red geraniums on platform 2 of Enfield Chase train station in Windmill Hill. The station sees thousands of commuters pass along its platforms every day, but is known for its badly lit platforms and eerie isolation once rush hour has passed. "I wanted to brighten things up," Dave told the Advertiser. "If you have a bit of planting, it shows people care about the place." I remembered when Bush Hill Park Station used to have gardens. It made it look like a lovely train station, and I thought, let's do something here. Although he has paid for some of the planters and plants himself, Dave was given a grant of £50 from Great Northern Railway, which operates the trains that pass through the station. This summer, Dave teamed up with his gardening buddy, John Cordell, and the pair grew pots of bright red geraniums and even managed to grow strawberries on planters on the platform, which they shared out among staff in the station. And the pair have big plans for how to keep the station looking cheerful even as winter draws in. "Winter pansies," Dave explains. "They are smaller than geraniums, but they are able to survive the winter frosts and storms. So we will still have our little platform garden, even when winter starts to bite." The Great Northern station manager for Enfield Chase, Bill Hamilton, said, "We're thrilled with Dave and John's work, which has really brightened up the station for our passengers. Anyone wishing to volunteer to help make the station greener can get in touch with Dave through the Enfield Society by emailing chairman@enfieldSociety.org.uk.
A woman whose family was caught up in a tropical storm that engulfed a small Caribbean island has single-handedly launched her own fundraising drive. Laura James Fanning of Wakefield Road, Bounds Green, began her mission to collect clothes, food and medicine earlier this month after her mother and sister were caught in the midst of Tropical Storm Erica, which hit the Caribbean island of Dominica, where they live, on August the 25th. At least 31 people have been reported missing and 20 people have been confirmed as dead. Roads have been completely destroyed, people in the rural areas are now completely cut off, and the farmers can't get their produce to market, so they cannot make money, and the rest of the island can't get food. The storm has been absolutely devastating for the island, and the Prime Minister of the country has said it has taken the island back by 20 years in terms of infrastructure and development. Laura's mother, who is originally from Dominica, worked as a nurse in England before retiring 10 years ago, and her sister works as a solicitor, but is now determined to move back to England. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt addressed the nation in the days after the storm and advised residents to share diminishing resources with each other. Laura knew how desperate the situation was, and because the international aid effort for such a small island is negligible, she decided to work with her sister to take matters into her own hands. The pair decided to build up their own small relief effort, with Laura coordinating the collection of medicines, non-perishable food and clothes from her own area, and shipping to her sister in Dominica, and she will distribute the provisions among the needy on the island, which is home to 72,000 people. She said, "The efforts of my neighbours and the people in the street have been amazing. I had never seen anything like it. They've given clothes, supermarkets donated food, and children even chose which of their own toys they would donate. The neighbourhood is really close, and I wrote letters to all my neighbours, and now we are getting ready to send 2 big blue barrels and a pallet of aid to the country." Laura is sending the aid packages to the country at her own expense, and while she says that she would love to do more collections for the islanders, at £100 a time, the cost of sending a barrel of aid is an expense that few can afford. While this round of fundraising has come to an end, Laura wanted to thank all her neighbours for contributing so much. It's become like a full-time job, she added. Everyone has come together and shown such generosity, and I'm sure everyone who receives it will be very grateful.
Providing cookery classes to primary school pupils has bagged one baker a national award. Lisa Perchke, who works at Warburton's Enfield site in Millmarsh Lane, has been crowned Health and Wellbeing Champion after visiting more than 2,500 pupils in the past year. She helped children at almost 100 schools, including Wilbury School, Enfield, learn about cooking and the importance of having a balanced diet. She said, "We are delighted to have been recognised for this award. The community's appetite for the programme has been really positive, which shows that schools are clearly seeing the need to educate children about food and nutrition from a young age. A good diet is the foundation of a healthy lifestyle, and we look forward to visiting even more schools this year as we introduce children to one of life's most important skills." She was given the award at the Food and Drink Federation Awards last week and is one of 20 school visitors across the country giving tips to school pupils.
What was her name? I didn't quite catch it.
Oh, that's Lisa Perchke.
Thank you very much. One of Enfield's busiest roads will be closed until early October as roadworks continue. The A10 northbound between Carterhatch Lane and the junction with the M25 will be closed between 10 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday until October the 8th. The road closure will also be used to carry out improvements and maintenance work to the crematorium footbridge over the A10. The footbridge deck will be resurfaced, and walkways, stairs and handrail panelling will be replaced. There may be additional lane closures between the 8th of October and October 26th to complete the work. Matt Sercombe, TfL's head of tunnels and structures, said, "Our £4 billion road modernisation plan will deliver a range of road improvements, including these essential works on the A10 Great Cambridge Road. This maintenance work will ensure we have safe, reliable and cared-for streets." Sonia.
An actress from Enfield, who has made movies in Hollywood, is back in London making her own film. Natalie Marie Ames, who studied at the Lavender Primary School in Lavender Road and Chase Community School in Churchbury Lane, will soon be on the big screen in the UK in the thriller Criminal. The movie also stars Kevin Costner and fellow British actors Gary Oldman and Alice Eve. She plays a British news reporter in the film and said, "It's an intelligent thriller. I play someone who is very direct and down the line." Natalie, who divides her time between homes in California and her family home in Hardy Way, will also be seen in an indie comedy, Larry Gay, Renegade Male Flight Attendant. In the film, she finds herself the brunt of a joker who is trying to save his job from cost-cutting measures. Ms. Ames flew out to Los Angeles during the summer of 2012, taking just a suitcase. She said she had some driving lessons to adapt to the other side of the road and joined an acting class as well as researching the best agents. She also helped teach American actors to speak with a British accent. Attendance at film festivals also helped boost her career, she said. "I started to do my own work to get some control. You also get some respect that you are taking some initiative," the 33-year-old said. Her trip back home will include a month's filming of a short film called Strangers on the Ledge, which she wrote and will produce. It's self-funded. It's about lost people meeting one evening under a bridge. I was going to shoot it in LA, but I think it suits London better, with people walking around the city. It tackles depression and mental health. Miss Ames said she did some acting at school, but suffered from shyness. However, she acted during breaks from her graphic design course at Southampton Institute and subsequently studied drama. Enfield audiences may have seen her in The Two Gentlemen of Verona at Grange Park Theatre. She has also appeared at King's Head Theatre in Islington, Barons Court Theatre in West London and the Royal Festival Hall.
More than 20 years of hard work has resulted in a London award for one Enfield man. Dedication to keeping New Southgate Millennium Green clean has earned Andrew Irvine a prize at the Team London Awards, which celebrates the work of volunteers. Presented by Mayor of London Boris Johnson, Mr Irvine was given the Greening and Cleaning Prize in the Over 25s category. Louise Hawkins, 15, nominated Mr Irvine. She said, "Andrew eats, sleeps and breathes Millennium Green. His belief is that our green must have everything on it for everyone, and that it must be the best Millennium Green in the world." The green has recently seen a transformation with new tables, benches and a mosaic. Speaking after the presentation evening, the tireless volunteer said, "I'm proud of what I've done these last 20 years for our community, including 17 years' work for the Millennium Green. But obviously I can't lead a team if I don't have a team, and everyone who has been involved, giving their time and effort, has helped make a dream come true." The work continues with a weekend of volunteering on Saturday and Sunday with the wonderful young people of our local National Citizenship Service on the green making new paths. The Mayor of London, Boris Johnson, added, "The work that Team London volunteers do is central to the success of the capital's thriving communities. Their hard work, innovative ways of helping others, and their sheer dedication have helped to make London a cleaner, greener, and more inclusive place for everyone." Huge congratulations go to tonight's winners, all of whom are incredibly deserving of this recognition.
A trader who put the lives of his staff and members of the public at risk has been prosecuted. Videos and images revealed people working for Greg Pearson from South Street, Ponders End, 15 metres above passers-by on poorly constructed scaffolding. It was found that incomplete scaffold was poorly erected and no measures had been taken to prevent failing scaffolding equipment hitting passers-by below. The 33-year-old owner of Pearson's Scaffolding was visited twice by health and safety executives and ordered to stop work whilst making the scaffold safe. However, Pearson ignored that notice and failed to give evidence that showed the site was safe to work on during the investigation. HSE Inspector Andrew Will Withers said, "Greg Pearson repeatedly put the lives of others, workers and members of the public at risk. His blatant disregard all warnings and enforcement action taken against him, and it was just good fortune that no one was killed. It's vital that law-abiding scaffolders have confidence they will not lose work to others who underquote them because they take shortcuts at the expense of safety. This case should send a message to other scaffolders that courts will sentence robustly even when the reckless working practices have thankfully not resulted in serious injuries or fatalities. I applaud the member of the public who alerted us to this, as thankfully we were able to avoid the workers or the public being injured or killed. We encourage people to report unsafe work to us so we can act to protect workers, and the public." Pearson pleaded guilty to 2 breaches of work at Height Regulation 2005 and was given 2 suspended prison sentences of 10 weeks to run concurrently, suspended for 12 months. He was also ordered to pay costs of £200 and a victim surcharge of £80.
Police had to call for assistance after complaints of a swan obstructing the public highway in Southgate. The beautiful long-necked bird plonked itself down on the pavement in Winchgate and refused to budge early on Friday morning. The cygnet landed in the street after it had flown over the rooftops from nearby Groveland's Park, where it is one of a family of swans which nest at the park's lake. After repeated failed attempts to take off again, it settled down in the middle of the pavement. Concern for its safety and safety of the public prompted passers-by making their way to work to call police, who then stood guard waiting for the RSPCA to arrive and assist in its rescue. It didn't seem fazed by the attention at all, said publishing editor Rebecca Shepherd, who lives in Winchgate, and took a photo on her journey to work. It was just sitting there, oblivious. It really was hilarious, she added. The bird was eventually carried on a special stretcher by an RSPCA handler and returned to the park's lake. The swans are a treasured feature of the park and its wildlife, said Michael McDonough, events organiser for the Friends of Groveland's Park Users Group. There are a family of about 8 swans, and many of the newborn chicks this year have survived to become cygnets. Swans find it easier to take off from water, and sometimes have difficulty getting airborne from the land, and this is what seems to have happened to this particular swan, he added.
Unemployment has more than halved in the past 5 years, according to data. Figures released by the Office of National Statistics show the number of unemployed people in Enfield has more than halved in the last 5 years, with 9,233 people registered as unemployed in August 2010. In August 2014, the number of people claiming job seekers allowance reached 6,237, a total of 3% of the population of the borough. In line with the national trend, figures have continued to fall at a steady pace over the past 12 months. Now, figures for August this year show a total of 4,314 people receiving the benefit, equivalent to 2.1% of the population. Of these, 2,300 claimants are men, while 2,014 are women. The amount is still above the London average of 1.9% and the national average of 1.7% for the month.
We've reached the end of our programme for this week. Thanks for listening. So from the team of Sonia, Jenny, Roz, myself and Jason on the controls, it's goodbye. Please remember to turn over the address label in your postal packet. Put the cassette into the packet and return it to us as soon as possible, in readiness for the next edition. And don't forget, you can call Diane de Jersey regarding any help you may require in connection with the Enfield Talking newspaper. The Enfield Talking newspaper will be with you again in 1 week's time.